Exactly 1 year ago from today, I was wasting my life away. I was playing Call of Duty Warzone and Dragon Ball Fighters all day, every day, like it was a 9 to 5 religiously. At the time, it was something that I just casually enjoyed doing, just for fun, just things that I enjoyed. But I learned to realize that unless I was gonna go pro, there was nothing that was gonna come out of it for me. That all changed when I started leveling up in my business. When I decided that I wanted to elevate and be the change in the world that I wanted to see for myself. I wanted to pursue bigger things that I didn't think were even achievable. And so from January 2022, all the way out to December 28th, 2022, I have made roughly around 6 figures. I had to make a lot of personal changes in my life to ensure that I was able to make this goal and maintain it. So I want to give this knowledge back to you. With that being said, here are 7 lessons that I learned that helped me reach 6 figures at the age of 23. Nothing will ever be perfect, just execute. When I first started out in business, I was fortunate enough to kind of just always take a leap of faith. I've always been a person that just starts without thinking about the consequences. And that's been a blessing and a curse in a lot of different areas in my life, but sometimes it also comes back and bites me in the ass. A lot of people get stuck in what we call the analysis paralysis phase, meaning they're so focused on analyzing everything that they make no movement towards their goal, become paralyzed, and don't make a movement at all towards anything. And so one of the biggest things I learned is that if you have an idea or a thought that you want to pursue, just try it, execute it. Don't even think about the plan or, the past or the future or whatnot. Just go ahead and execute it. See how far it takes you first. And then once you hit a certain milestone, then you should start planning and figuring it out. Don't get stuck in the rat race of figuring out everything up front, because I promise you, you're not gonna figure out everything from the get-go. Number 2 is give value first. So back in January, when I first started doing photography, I actually picked up the camera and I was taking pictures of real estate, houses and apartments and stuff. And so what I would do is on my free time, no one would even ask me. I would just go to a random apartment complex or a random home that one of my realtor friends had. And I'd be like, hey, let me take some pictures for this house, see how they turn out. And I didn't have any plans for using these pictures until the opportunity came to use these pictures for the greater good. Like this picture, for example, is one of my favorite pictures that I've taken. And with this picture, I was able to use it to leverage a whole bunch of clients, even to this day, saying, hey, this is the quality of work that I have and I can create for your real estate property or whatever. I was able to give value first by saying, hey, this is what I do, or give value first by doing a small task that's little to no work to me because I know how to do it, and then giving it to them for free so that they can give me a work or a contract in return. That system works perfectly because you're able to give the client security of knowing that you can put out good work. And on top of that, they'll be comfortable in you knowing that you can actually put out good work and they'll be willing to work with you even more. This lesson has never failed me and will never, ever fail me till the dawn of all business and time. Number 3, my future self depends on my current self. One of the biggest things that I had to acknowledge is that the person that is 10 years ahead of me really depends on the person right now. And so one of my mentors, Alec Alwina, always taught me a lesson. He said, hey, think about how the person 10 years from now is looking at you currently. Think about how yourself 15, 20 years from now is looking at your current self. Will he approve of the things you're doing now, or what do you want you to do better? This lesson has been sort of a reinforcement statement in my life, knowing that the person that's 10 years ahead of me is probably way more successful than me now and knows way more and is in a better place than me now. And so naturally it causes the current self to thrive and make sure I can reach or surpass even the person that I am 10 years from now. Sounds really cringy, but it does help you put yourself in a motivational state when you don't have any. So get to it, because your future self depends on it. Set boundaries and conditions. I saw a TikTok and reel the other day that said something along the lines of, a man operates at his best when he has boundaries. I didn't quite understand it when I saw it. I believe I saw it a couple months ago. But now that I set a whole bunch of conditions in my personal life, it makes complete sense. You cannot really live optimally when you live a laissez-faire type of lifestyle. You really have to set conditions and constraints in your life, personal or in your life and business-wise, so that you operate the best or the smoothest. I found that putting time constraints or putting goals and rules in my life helps me perform optimally and better, and sometimes even faster to get whatever I need to get done. For example, I'm still a big gamer at heart, but now I have a max time of an hour a day to game, not because I want to, because I have to. And so what I usually do is I say, hey, if I finish this task by 10 p.m. properly and get it sent to my client or whatever, then I can game freely from 9 to 10 or whatever the case may be. Another boundary I set is that I've been growing so fast this year that my time has actually become very valuable to me. I can't just give it out to anybody. And what I learned is setting that boundary of time limitation socially and in personal life as well. I've been more able to focus on the work that I need to do, or I've been more able to excel in the tasks that I have to do in the business as well. And so that's been a big tip that's helped me grow my business this year. So yeah, set conditions, set your boundaries. This tip is highly underrated. Make sure to enjoy yourself. I'm actually, as you're watching this, today the 28th, the 29th, I'll be going to Houston up until the 1st of January 2023. I'll be taking a small little vacation, just so I can get away from work. The last vacation I took before this was probably 2 years ago. And so I don't take vacations often at all. Most of them are work trips. I go there to take pictures of something or someone. And because of that, this past year has been the greatest year of my life. It's also been the most stressful. And it's also been one of the most tiring because I didn't enjoy myself as much. I didn't take the time out to celebrate victories or celebrate my small wins. I kind of just went at it and always slaved to the hustle mentality. The hustle mentality is great, don't get me wrong, but you also have to compensate it with a little bit of fun. So make sure you go out there and enjoy yourself. Number 6, fuck it. Just say fuck it and just do it. The most fun I've had this year so far by far is when I said, fuck it. If there's an item that is within my budget, but almost close or slightly over my budget, fuck it. I would just go ahead and get it. If there's a trip that I need to make that would make me potentially more money than before, fuck it. Take the risk. It's very important to take the risk, say fuck it, and just do what you gotta do and see what comes out of it. Most millionaires or billionaires at that don't come from making safe bets and moves all the time. As a matter of fact, Drake makes a lot of money just by gambling, and you guys see it all. He just says, fuck it. I'm gonna put 200K down on the bet that he might win or lose. And most of the times, he's right. So take the risk, go all out on a limb, and fuck it. See what happens. The biggest fucking moment I had this year was when I got my car. My car was definitely way out of my budget before I even got it, but I knew that once I got it, I would be able to work hard to make sure I can maintain it and keep it within my possession. And so far, I still have the car. I'm making the payments every month and it's going well. So that all came from a decision where I said, you know what? Fuck it, I'll just get the car. So take those risks, calculated, of course. My last and probably the most important tip that helped me make all this money this year is you are your best and worst critic. It's very important to elevate yourself no matter what you do, but it's also very important to catch yourself when you're being critical of yourself, because you will always be your best and worst critic. However, there's a fine line in being critical of yourself or just plain outright insulting yourself. And you have to be able to make the distinction to kind of help yourself grow in business. One of the main things that I focus on daily is how I speak to myself, how I address to myself. It's never really rude. It's never in a negative manner or tone. It's always like, well, you could have improved, you could have grown, you could have done this, or you could have done that. And so I always make myself conscious of the words and wisdom that I tell myself, and I make sure that I move intentfully and I tell myself the proper things so that we can elevate. Those are the 7 lessons that I learned that helped me get to the 6 figures this year. My goal next year is to surpass that, hopefully 2 or 3x with my business. However, there are a lot of things that I really want to aspire to learn, like this year taxes and how to actually save money and how to spend your money wisely, take calculated risks, and much, much more. So that's gonna be my plan for this year. But before I go, I'm gonna leave you guys with an honorable mention. Take this with you wherever and forever. The sky is not the limit. The capacity of your mind is. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I really enjoy making these videos for you guys. I'm gonna upload weekly. Follow my Instagram to make sure you stay in the news. And without further ado, roses are red, violets are blue, and subscribe if this video brought some value to you. Peace.